guys, how's it going? Okay, this is that meal plan that I've promised for the week. This time I did not actually manage to record this right after the grocery haul like I have been doing. And that's because yesterday was absolutely insane. We left later to go get groceries than we had planned. Then we ended up going out for lunch since we were out later, and then we had to run some extra errands. Got home in time, do the grocery haul, spend some time with the kids, and then went out to dinner with friends. So it was a really long day. And so previously I have done exactly what I've done now and recorded this at night. We didn't get home till too late. And then I had to serve for church this morning. So it has been all over the place. So it's the next day. You still have not, well, I still have not uploaded the grocery haul. You will hopefully have seen that before this though, because I upload those on Mondays and the meal plans on Tuesdays to go with it. So let's go ahead and get right to that. First of all, we are on the third week in this notebook. I'm gonna go ahead and scoot closer here. In the notebook that I'm using, I managed to fit 3 weeks on each page. Each week, I actually only write down a total, I don't know, I'm showing you 4, because I write down a total of 6 meals rather than 7, because there's always at least one day a week where either we're just really busy and on the go, or we've got enough leftovers that I really don't need that much. Also for lunch, typically we do a lot of leftovers, some faster and easier things. That's why we do keep some freezer foods on hand, but we keep really simple things that the kids can make themselves. Our older girls are really getting into doing some of their own cooking and stuff. So there's been a lot of omelets and grilled cheeses and just experimenting with different things lately that is really kind of fun to see them grow and do. And having that lunch spot open really enables that for them. Now, sometimes I do make the daily meal for lunch, in which case they can do whatever they want for supper. We still do, kind of all at the same time and stuff. It's not just a free-for-all, but they get a little bit more choice in what they're having versus a meal I make where that's the meal. So in this final week, now, first of all, this last week, you're gonna see that we made everything but the chicken and rice dish. That I had mentioned last week was just kind of an add-on. It's gonna be one of the first things cut because everything in it is in the freezer or the pantry. It's a fill-in meal that's easy to get bumped in case we are busier and we just don't need that meal, because it does happen a lot where we actually only end up making 5 things. Although 5 is our average, rarely is it less. Sometimes we do manage all 6, so we'll see. Now let's move on to this list. You're gonna see the first one is already crossed off, and that's because I moved it. Not because we made it. Thought I was gonna say we already made it, huh? It did say tater tot casserole. That one got bumped because of a mix up with some ingredients, and I was adding quesadillas to the list that we had planned on having today for dinner, but I didn't realize that we were out of tortillas. So that actually didn't happen. So yeah, the week's already started off a little rough, but you know what? That's okay. We're gonna bounce back. Okay, so spot number 2, we've got caramelized garlic chicken. This is a dish that I actually learned to make from a Rachel Ray cookbook several years ago. So I couldn't even tell you exactly which one. At this point, I don't follow the exact recipe. I just kind of wing it because the basics are there and it is so good. So I bought a package of fresh chicken breasts from Sam's Club. There are 8 of them in there total. That the little kids are gonna be hit or miss on whether or not they're gonna eat it anyhow. The big kids I know will all love it. So between Sean and myself and the 4 big girls, there's 6 of them right there. The 3 little kids can easily split the other 2 if they even eat that much. So we'll see. More than likely, one will be split between whoever does want it, and then we'll make something different for whichever little ones don't. So, and since I do it actually has tomato on the top of it, Roma tomatoes too. So that right there is gonna turn off 1 or 2 of the kids. Okay, number 2 is drip beef. Now that is actually, you're gonna see something different over here. So drip beef, and I've got PW lunch card. Okay, PW, it's Pioneer Woman. For Christmas this year, I got a really cool recipe tin that is Pioneer Woman themed. I love her prints and stuff. It's just something I like. But it has a bunch of her favorite recipes in it, and then it came with 100 blank recipe cards. So I've actually started writing some of my own to have them in there. And it's really been kind of fun going through the cards, and then I can reorder them so that the ones I plan on making this week are at the front of the row because they're not alphabetized to begin with. Now, I thought they were. That would have actually made me very happy. Might be something I have to do in the future. But for the moment, I just move the ones I plan on making right now to the front of the stack, and then it's easier to get to. So that is what the drip beef is. Now that one, it did actually call for pepperoncinis. I did not buy those. For one, I forgot to put them on the list, and two, half the family won't eat them. So we're gonna do a slightly modified version, but we do that for a lot of recipes because of allergies anyhow. So not a big deal. The second one is a pasta with pesto cream sauce. Again, you see Pioneer Woman dinner card. This is another recipe that came from one of hers. Again, we will slightly modify things because the pasta we use is not the whole wheat pasta that her recipe is going to call for or the regular pasta. We use tinchiata gluten-free pasta, not because we have to be gluten-free, but because to avoid the wheat for me. We started that many years ago. And even when I have had a lot of weakness and eaten regular bread and stuff, we've never switched our pasta back. So it actually makes that a lot easier because it's something the kids are already used to. It's a rice pasta and we all really like the texture of it. So that, is good. It's one of our favorite ones that we've ever tried. Next on the list is chili. This is a fast, easy meal that I make in the Instant Pot. I might have this already in a recipe in my recipe playlist. I will double check that. And if not, I will go ahead and see about making that this week if possible. That, again, I soak my own beans. We do everything from dry beans. I'm not a fan of canned beans. And then everything else is ingredients that we've got in the freezer or the pantry. So this is the kind of stuff that we just love to make because, yeah, I keep that stuff on hand. It's really fast and easy. And again, if a meal has to get bumped, it's possible to bump that one, but it's winter and it's supposed to be really cold this week. So it's perfect time to have some chili. Next on the list, spaghetti and garlic bread. Okay, that is about as basic as it can get. That is not a dish we have very often. Some of our kids are really unsure about spaghetti noodles, but I have some in the cupboard that need to be used. It is a different brand. It is still gluten-free pasta, but it is, I don't even remember what brand it is. I think it's something we picked up at Costco a while back. It needs to be used. So that's what we're gonna have. Again though, if a meal has to get bumped to next week, that's what it's gonna be. The last on the list are those quesadillas that we were gonna have for dinner tonight. And then, yeah, I managed to not figure that one out quite right. So Sean's gonna have to bring home some tortillas here in the next day or so, and we'll have those quesadillas. Part of the reason we're having those is because we ate enough other really good filling meals that we have leftovers in the fridge still even, not a lot, but a little bit. And we just did not get through all of the chicken that we make every Monday. And with tomorrow actually being Monday, so you're seeing this on Tuesday, so technically, do the math on that. Anyhow, we have chicken that needs to be used up before I cook the next ones. Chicken quesadillas are a perfect way to do that because you just take a tortilla, put some of the shredded chicken in it, shred some cheese and put over the top of that. We like to squirt some barbecue sauce in there, and then you fold it in half and slap it either in a greased pan. We can do it on the griddle, which we like to do too. We used to make them on our George Foreman grill, but that died a while back. It had been used and abused and loved thoroughly, and we just have not spent the money to buy a new one because we want one of the really big ones, but they're not cheap, and we've got enough other toys and things in the kitchen, so it has not been a priority to replace it because things like that we can make in other ways. So that's what we're doing, although we'll see. I didn't actually remember to watch for it on Black Friday sales or anything like that. So we'll see, maybe something this next summer. A lot of places do the Christmas and July sales. We'll see about that. So anyhow, there you go. We don't own a George Foreman grill. I wish we did. And we've got a whole week's worth of food. Now I'm gonna give you a really fast glimpse because you guys are gonna be excited for this for next week. I have already been working ahead. I'm kind of liking the idea of working ahead. I've got that much. Hopefully, yeah, you may have caught a couple things there, but not everything. Not everything's fully filled in. I don't have every meal in there. But quite a bit is done, which means I've got almost a month's worth of meal plans somewhat figured out. And then what I'm also doing, so I keep a magnetic notepad on our refrigerator that I write our grocery list on every week. I'm still pen and paper kind of person, as you can tell. I don't really love some of the apps. If my phone's charging or something else, it's actually really inconvenient for me. So I keep that on there. Well, what I've started doing now too is I've got 3 or 4 different pages going, each one for the following week. And it's really coming in helpful, especially since I'm doing a lot of new recipes and stuff. I'm trying one new recipe every week. I've got at least one simple meal on there every week. I've got at least one go-to meal every week. The other 3 meals, it's kind of up in the air. I do try to limit a big meat purchase to 1 meal a week. So sneak peek here. Next week there is, I gotta remember the name here. It's a spicy Dr. Pepper pulled pork. It's gonna be interesting. We'll see how that one turns out and if everybody actually eats it or not. But it's gonna be a pork shoulder. And you know, that's a big chunk of meat, which is a big chunk of money. So I'm not gonna go buy a roast or, you know, a big package of chicken breasts again at the same time. So all of our other meals throughout the week are either going to incorporate that shredded chicken that we have in the fridge, the hamburger that we keep in the freezer, or something else that we might already have around. And then I do try to have 1 or 2 meals that just don't really include meat so much, whether it's gonna be French bread pizza or lentil and rice tacos. You just never know. So there's that. If you have any questions about any of that, please feel free to leave it in the comments down below. I'm happy to answer anything related to this video, meal planning, any of the recipes I discussed or anything else. I don't have all of those recipes up in my recipe playlist, but I'd love it if you checked out what I do have there. You might find something you really enjoy too. In the meantime, I hope that you're having a blessed day. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss everything coming up next. And I will see you in the next one.